All right, it's 6 o'clock. We've still got a few more that I think may be jumping in, so let's give it 2 more minutes. I don't want to, um, but I'm here as long as you guys have questions, so I've cleared the rest of my schedule for the evening. Chat is the only way you guys can talk right now. I've got it set just to listen. After I go over some of the features and new things that we've added, I can turn group on and let individuals talk if we want to do that. I've used this software a little bit. There's still some new things with it that I haven't used, so it may be a experience for all of us. And yes, Sandra, at some points during this, I've just kind of gone quiet as I was looking at another screen. Olga, is it coming through at all and just a little choppy for you? And Diane, after it'll be about 15 minutes as I go through the features, and then we can start doing questions. All right, we're at 38, 39. Yeah, that was me being quiet again. I will try to keep talking as much as possible, only taking breaks to breathe or briefly hydrate myself. I need to adjust this again. Give me just 1 second. All right. We supposedly had this set up for up to 100 people to join, but it keeps telling me I'm close to the maximum. So I keep having to add additional seats to it. So I'm going to keep an eye on that as we go. And if we get close to what I'm showing is 55 now, I will take a quick break and adjust that again. All right, it's 5 after. I'm going to get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm excited to show you guys the features. Myself and a couple other programmers have been working for quite a while on some of them, so I'm going to jump right in and start showing. As you see on the screen, I've got the Voces login page. Quick comment about the refresh box that you'll see up here. I had to adjust how the login worked. We were having some connection issues last week. So when you log in now, you'll see that the login button disappears as it's trying to connect. And this has fixed our connection issues, but sometimes the login button hasn't worked correctly since I made that change, and I don't understand why. But if you refresh the page, clearing your cache, which is what this button here will do for you, it seems to fix the problem. So if anyone runs into it and for some reason that doesn't fix it, please email me at help@vocesetextbooks.com and I will personally work with you to get it set up. It looks like today it was a lot smoother than yesterday. So hopefully everyone will be fixed very soon. Yes, Timothy, that was probably it. I added this button to make it easy especially for the phone and iPad users, because I wasn't even sure how to clear the cache on those ones. I'm going to use Spanish 1 for the walkthrough today. If anyone has specific questions about the other books, I can jump into that later. So I'm going to log in. We see the logging in. Please wait. And all right, it looks like it's not holding up too much when I click the delay from when I click to there. All right. First feature that we added that shows up on every page is the search bar. You can type anything in here, and if it is on the content of any page, it will come up and tell you that it's there. So let's just search for, let's search for something that we know is on here. We'll go with, I'm not even going to try pronouncing Spanish words because I know I can't. So if I search for this, I find out that the only place it shows up is on this greetings page. So if I try searching for something else, let's just search for yellow, and let's spell it correctly. I see 5 different pages. It tries to sort it by how many times it shows up on the page or how important it feels the word is. So it's not always exact, but it does tend to do a pretty good job of giving you the pages you'll need. This one doesn't cover colors much in this book, which is why that's not showing up. All right, I'm trying to watch both the screen that I'm working on and chat. So if I miss anything, I will ask again at the end. I'm just going to do a quick scan. I want to talk to anyone that's having Firefox issues and try and get some specifics. And the last 4 letters of the Spanish alphabet, I will look at that as well. I'm making a note right now. And I will double check the audio for that. When we did the upgrade, we made a lot of adjustments. We went through and tested to make sure that nothing would break, but every so often, even when we test it over and over again, it seems like something doesn't work exactly right. But one of the nice things about having a small team is that we can make very quick adjustments. All right, so I went over search. Another aspect is the grading of the workbook activities. So we're logged in as a teacher. Let me bring my student view over. All right. This is a new student I created. So if I go down to workbook activities 1, just last night I got the new answer key loaded for Spanish 1. That means both Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 will now auto grade where we have definitive answers. There were still few spots in the answer key I was given that I wasn't confident in, so those will not auto grade, but you'll still have your grading options. So let's put in a few of these. Luckily I have an answer key here with me. And I'm going to get this one wrong. And we'll leave the others blank. So when I submit, is there audio issues still? All right. So when I hit submit, and something I'm working on is the submit button. I'm trying to make sure that students can only click it once. I've had a couple, 2 or 3 students that have had issues where if they click it multiple times, it's been throwing an error. I don't think it happens very often, but it's something to watch out for. So when I click OK, it refreshes the page, and we can see that I've got the first, or numbers 2 through 4 correct, and then I've got X's on the other ones where it is incorrect or incomplete. Now, one thing that I wanted to make sure we had was incorrect. The 4 is incorrect, but my answer key is also incorrect. I'm going to fix that as soon as we get out of the webinar. And I will run this all through proofing again, because apparently they're missing little things and nitpicking some of the big things. So now that that's done, I can go in the teacher's account into the teacher's panel. You'll see lots of classes in here. If I go into workbook results and activity 1, I can see student John Smith, which is the one that I was logged into, and the answers they had. If I uncheck that because it was incorrect, and I can type the key was wrong, and then hit save, first thing we'll see is it updates my on-page grading so that it goes back down to 2 out of 9. And if I go back in as a student now and refresh the page, this X here has a exclamation point next to it, and if they mouse over it, it will tell them any notes that you left. So it's a good way to pinpoint what the students did right or wrong on the activities. And looking through chat. Yeah, the 0 out of 9 will show up when it is one that we do not have clear answers for. If there's a specific activity, I can take a look at that and see why it came up as 0 out of 9. Normally, that's when it's a variable answers. If there's sentences and things like that, I tried to minimize how much auto grading it tried to do to prevent frustration on multiple ends. Robert, that would be myself. If you send it to help@vocestextbooks.com or feedback@vocestextbooks.com, I will get those emails, and then if it's something that needs to go to our content manager, I'll forward that along, or a lot of times I will make the change on the spot. Damaris, it is going to be up for exploratory. I've got chapter 1 done so far. I'm hoping to have the rest done by this weekend is my goal. Let's see, capitalization. There's some spots that are case sensitive and some that aren't. My goal is to, I think I'm going to make it all not case sensitive. I've got a couple teachers, and actually I think I can set up a poll in here to kind of take a vote and see. I've had some argue for and some argue against. 80, when it will automatically show the checks and X's when it tries to grade them, what you change it to will overwrite. And something that I might do with case sensitive is make it an option in the teachers panel to let you guys decide whether it's going to be case sensitive or not case sensitive. Yeah, I've been trying to put as much up to the teachers as possible. All right, you guys want the PDF workbook real quick. I just added it into the front side. I had a request today. Um, so under introduction and additional files, uh, there's a spot where you can click for the workbook PDF. Um, it does not line up with the e-textbook. This is something that Teachers Discovery had before we went digital. They've made a few modifications, um, but it is not perfect. We've spent a lot of time working on the digital one, and there's been discussions about what to do with the print ones. So it is not matched up, but it is a great fallback. The activities are in here, they're just not always numbered the same. So if you find something in the PDF, it will be in there somewhere. It's amazing how students point out mistakes in something. Yes, please do email them to me. And we can discuss case sensitivity some more later, but it would be an automatic upgrade as soon as I make a change or add a teacher option. And like with these latest upgrades, they'll just appear and I'll make sure and alert so that you guys know what's there. While I'm in the teachers panel, there's a section I added that we've had some requests for. Yes, I will touch on usage log right after page exclusions. And I haven't gone into too many explanations and instructions or anything like that on exclusions. It's something we added just kind of on the fly because there's been some requests for it. So I'll go over it now. You can exclude an entire chapter, subchapters, or individual pages. So if I don't want students to see, we'll just go with chapter 2. So I click the select the chapter, pick Guatemala, and click exclude chapter. Now when I reload my student account, and I'll bring that back over to the screen, we can see on the left side, it goes from chapter 1 straight to chapter 3. All exclusions are class specific. So if you've got 3 classes and you want to exclude chapter 2 from all 3, you will have to do it 3 times. However, that also means you can have chapter 2 available for one class and not available for the other 2. Beyond that, we can do individual pages within a chapter. So once I select chapter 1, I could disable, look at that. I could disable all workbook activities for chapter 1. Yes, exclusions work in all of the Voces e-textbooks now. So if you disable a workbook activity, you'll notice in the book there's multiple places that it shows up. And I'm going to try and find one real quick. So over on the right-hand side here, we've got the alphabet workbook activity. If I disable that page, so let's go into workbook activities and alphabet and exclude that and refresh. It is still taking them to that. I'm trying to come up with a good way to remove them. So I thought I had that. I'm going to have to look back at my notes and see what is going on. So yes, you can disable the individual Spanish page or the individual video pages, such as the Quack videos. I know they're a little questionable for the younger students, and then being able to turn off activities to use them as quizzes, things like that, should work well, even to keep your students from going ahead too much. Voces is built on Mexican Spanish, so I know there are some discrepancies. I am not fluent, and I'm also not the one in charge of content. So if you do have specific spots where you have questions on, please email me and I will forward that along. I know Spanish 2 has both Mexican and Spain Spanish in it. All right, so there is that. Let's jump over into the usage logs now, and then I'll come back to student registration. So if I go into view students, and we'll go with the student I just, well, let's look at the one that I did all the answer keys on. So if I open this up, I can see how much time was spent on every page, starting with the most recent. So we can see that yesterday from 10:55 to 11:07 p.m. I was on workbook activity 14 for a total of 12 minutes and 7 seconds. This is a great way to cross-check your students' claims about how much they do or don't spend doing homework. The log is extensive and it's all printable. I don't have a print button on here, but if you right click, you can hit print. The records are only showing as of September 1st or 2nd for any of the Spanish books. So keep that in mind. If a student has work completed, then they will not necessarily show up on here if they completed it before September. There's a lot of conversation about student logins. Give me 1 second to read through this. All right, I'm going to go through the 3 ways to add students. Once I go through those, then I'll show you the student self-registration. So I've got 3 ways here for creating new students. We can do quick entry, advanced entry, and upload a CSV. Upload a CSV is new for this fall. With quick entry, you type the names. I'm just going to copy a couple of these with a comma in between and click process. It'll come up and tell me that 3 students were successfully created. And this is where it will load them in sorted by first name. When you load quick, it just merges their entire name into one shortened username. If I go into edit student and put in their first name and last name and update the student, they will be sorted alphabetically at the end of the list by last name. So it takes a little longer to put in their full names, but it does give you an easier to look through list. With advanced entry, you type in both their first name and last name, and then you've got the option of adding their user ID in as well. I'm going to leave that blank. If it's blank, it will auto-generate it. One student successfully created. And now we're back here, and it automatically puts in both the first and last name and sorts it accordingly. The third way, and let me get my CSV ready, is to upload a CSV. First thing is going to be to create a sample, or to create a CSV. I've got a sample one here that I'm going to put a link to so you can download it and edit it as you need. It's got 3 columns: a first name column, last name column, and a user ID column. So you add them in one line at a time, and this will work with Excel as well. CSV stands for comma separated variable sheet or variable file. So Excel can export as a CSV. So if you've got all your students in Excel, just get their first name, last name, and the ID you want for them as the first 3 rows. Save it as a CSV, and you'll be able to import it here. So I've got that. Where is that saved at? On my desktop. There we go. All right, so I've got it saved. Bring it here and drag it to choose file. You can also click on choose file and find it that way. Has the names of the rows to be imported. And if your CSV happens to be in a different order than first name, last name, user ID column it is in, and then hit preview, and it'll show you the students that are in that file. As long as that looks good, you hit upload students. If you want to see it in a different, say you had the first and last name columns confused, you can hit preview again, and it will adjust. So we'll preview students have been created successfully. The final way to create students is to let them do it themselves. A word of warning with this: once you turn this on and let them create their accounts, you want to turn it off so that the board student doesn't create 50 accounts, or if a student forgets their password, they don't just go in and create another one, just for organizational. So to start with, your account is, the student self-registration is disabled. So to enable it, you just go into the teachers panel, and at the bottom under account management, you'll see the student self-registration link. Click that, and then you'll click enable. Then you just send your students to studentregister.vocestextbooks.com, and they will be able to put in their name. Well, let me take you there real quick so you can see exactly what they'll see as they're going through it. It is a good idea to walk through it with them in class. That seems to be the easiest way. So first, they need to select their textbook that they're signing up for, and then they'll type in their class ID. So you will need to give them that. Then they'll put in their name, and they'll select a class. So you do need to have your classes set up. But once they select the class and click create, it gives me the new class ID and user, or the same class ID, a new user ID. And as soon as they click OK, it logs them right into the book. and I make another note. Once you've set up all of your students, go back in, click disable. That'll make sure they are not able to create multiple accounts. We had one last year where they would create accounts, go in and take the quizzes early so they could practice them over and over. Yes, you can still see their IDs. So if I go into view students, I can see the one that was just created, and there's their user ID. The student information is also exportable as a CSV if you ever needed to copy it out for distribution. That, I believe, is everything. One more thing on the teacher panel. Under account management, there is a Voces link button that is pretty well hidden. If you go in here, you can see all of the books that we offer, and then your class ID and user ID for each. And you can also set up demos for the others. Signing up for Voces link will let you do this real quick. Signing up for Voces link will let you log into any books you have with one class ID and user ID, which will be found up here. That'll let you minimize the number of passwords you need to remember. Am I missing any of the new features? Yes, drawing. Let me find a drawing activity. Let's erase it. All right, this is a new fall feature to Voces that lets them draw on some of the activities that were previously in-class activities. We still do have some in-class activities. There is a standards link. I will get to that in just a second. If I forget, please remind me. Yes, students can see the comments you leave for them by mousing over or clicking on the X or check mark. And there's something I'll show you in Spanish 2. There's a summary section that is there that will be coming to Spanish 1 soon. So from the drawing area, people are able to, or students can draw and then save. And once they save, you'll be able to view it in the teachers panel. They have different color pencil options. They can also add text. So text, I do know a Spanish word. So our goal is to try and bring as much of it online to be done on the computer as possible and not have to print excessively. We are working on a manual. We do have an instruction guide in here. It is not entirely up to date. So we will have a full walkthrough on all of this stuff. I may have somebody pull instructions out of this webinar and write them down. The instruction guide is under introduction and instructions. So some of the pictures are out of date as we've changed some of the layout, but overall the instructions are correct. I'm going to log out real quick and show you the, oh the guide, the standards. Under content outlines on the right side, there's a content outline, at least I believe this is what you mean, correct me if I'm wrong. On the HTML version, we list what is in each chapter, and then at the bottom we have the actual national standards and how many times it aligns with it. It was under, before you log in, on the right side, there's content activity or content outlines. And then you can either view an HTML or a PDF version that you can download for each of the 3 Spanish books. And if there's something that you think should be fleshed out more as far as the standards go, please let us know, and we will try and add to it. I'm reading through some of the questions. Looks like you guys are answering each other's questions. All right. Timothy, we've got a teacher's guide. And I think it includes there has been talk about adding the teacher's guide materials into online. A decision hasn't been made yet. I will investigate that a little because that is something I would like to see happen. Still reading through. There is not an app. Voces works on all standard internet-enabled devices. We've tested it on multiple phones and every browser or tablet we can get our hands on. So we don't see a need for an app. What an app would do at that point is sources in multiple directions instead of focusing on the web versions. Yes, you can exclude video as well. Spanish 1 does not own introductory. That is regarding Naomi. What does Spanish 1 not do that introductory does? Spanish 1, I believe Spanish 1 has a teacher's edition. Double check. If you want to shoot me an email, I will double check and let anyone know that is interested in it. It may have been out of stock. I know we've had some printing issues. Bridget, funny story there. I had a forum, I think it was last year, and the only person using it with bots that found it and put it with spam had somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 spam messages that I had to delete when I turned it off. So that's something I may add again in the future, but I'm going to have to find a way to prevent them. There is a separate print teacher's edition. We've got a PDF version of one of the teacher's editions, I believe. But we find, like you guys are saying, that the teacher's editions are something that you like having a physical copy in front of you on. Right. Internet Explorer sometimes has issues because Microsoft does not always follow the web standards as the rest of the internet follows them. They have tended to create their own. It has been better since Internet Explorer 10. So we do test on 10 and 11 just to make sure. There may be some features that have fallen through the cracks. If there's something specific not working on Internet Explorer, of course, let us know and we will take a look at. It seems to me that Internet Explorer isn't being used very much anymore. I think it is our number 4 browser, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and then Internet Explorer. There should not be any issues in Chrome. I use Chrome and Firefox on a day-to-day basis, so those two are very thoroughly tested. All right. Safari is a Mac and iPad, iPhone browser. We've got a large percentage using iPads and iPhones. They're saying to bring your own device, and it seems like most of the devices tend to be iPods or iPad minis. Anyone interested in the teacher's edition, if you can send me an email, I will see what we've got and see if I can work something out for you. I'm not sure exactly what I can do. I don't deal with the print side as much. I'll definitely try and help you guys out on that one. Let me log in and see. I thought we had one. I don't think I've been given the newest one. Editions. There's an answer key. There's not a teacher's guide up there right now. I will take a look and see tomorrow and ask the people who did the print one what it would take to get me a version that I can put online. There are multiple readers. I can show you that real quick. We are actually working on that they will be student accessible. As of right now, they're only in the teacher panel. But one of the new things we're working on is to have those in the normal section. So teachers and students see them, as well as adding some activities. So this is I believe, illustrated reader. There are readers in first year, and I believe, oh, I could be wrong, but I think there are readers in exploratory. We're working on adding some more for exploratory or some at all. Yes, these readers are included. And I know we're working to add some for second year. Under the content outlines is the document for each introductory Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. So that's as close to a scope and sequence as I am familiar with. Voces does have a don't check it regularly. Is there a back channel? The easiest way to get a hold of me is to email pretty much any of the Voces e-textbooks emails. If you send it to help or feedback at vocesetextbooks.com, that'll get to me, and that's the easiest way for us to go back and forth with technical questions. The readers don't correspond to specific chapters. They are in your teachers panel under additional resources. And it looks like we've got 6 of them in there. Yes, we find that a lot of our users using it as a supplement. I was wondering if anyone was going to ask about the test mode. That is for me only, or our other developers, so that we can test new features alongside of the book without having to edit live pages, keep a completely different system. So you will never see the test mode on or off. Yes, like I was saying, we're finding people are using it as a supplement. We're hoping that eventually we can become more than a supplement for you guys and be that go-to textbook. There are PDF tests. They are not the book. We left them out because we didn't want students to be able to access them early. Now that we have exclusions, we have talked about adding them back in. To exclude videos, let me jump into a class. So I can go to Chapter 1 Mexico, click on the Videos tab, and I could either exclude all videos, or if I want to exclude, well, let's just exclude greetings vocabulary. I click that, and then I click Exclude Page, and it will no longer show up in the navigation. You are still using a book from 1986 that must have some amusing fashion pictures in it. All right, so I'm sure I have missed questions. I talked much longer than I had originally intended, so let me know what I can answer, or if you guys want to ask each other questions here. I'm going to leave it as chat instead of audio, unless someone specifically wants audio access. Carol, I should be able to write something up. Shoot me an email after this or in the morning, and I will put something together. I think we did a development time certificate when we had some of these last year. So anyone that wants that, please email me, and next time I will have it available. What I'd like to do is start having these probably on a monthly basis to show off new content, or even just to share with each other what you've done over the last month that has worked and what questions you have. Smart boards. They seem to work. The ones that I've tested on, we've tested them as basically as projected on the screen, and then using that a as a touch screen. So as long as they're hooked up to a computer that has internet access, they should be able to run Voces. Is there a place? You guys are typing faster than I can read and process. Vamos, oh, you're just trying to get me to pronounce Spanish words. If I go back to the textbook, I can search for it. And yes, in Spanish 1, these are all of the places that uses that phrase. I will ask Deb if she still has that certificate. I believe the comments will be. If not, I know I can get a transcript and I can post those as well. I will not make the certificate for 10 hours. I feel that that would be cheating. And I know teachers that I've had in the past would frown upon me cheating, especially when dealing with other teachers. What more would you like me to go into about the usage logs? We're not able to edit the tests. Alicia, you should not, no one should be kicked out of the middle of a quiz. If you can email me, I will work with you directly to try and see what is going on. Now that we were not recording student usage in the Spanish books prior to September, so I don't have historic records available. Gladys, I can see what I can do for you there. I will check tomorrow. Going forward, all logs will be staying there. I don't know if I put a time limit on it. Let me see. Yeah, so it will just keep recording for as long as that student is there. Yes, you will. The one time it does not record is if a page is closed without being logged out of. It records every time a student changes pages and the page they were on when they logged out. If a student just closes the browser, it does not store that record. Okay, I will look at overwriting the backspace. I know I've overrode enter on some of the activities. I will look at doing that very shortly because that is an issue if they're doing that. Kara, it is great that you were able to log in. Let me say good morning. All right, got people sharing their email addresses. That is great. If the page is refreshed, so you will see both of those. I went to it and submitted and refreshed. I'll see if the problem with consolidating them into one is that it can only do total time and not individual entries. So anytime someone goes to a page, so if we're looking at activity 13, I was at it for 5 seconds, I probably pressed submit, and then I was at it for 2 more seconds before I went to the next page. Very good points about editing the tests. So I will see what I can do there. I should at least be able to get Word doc versions of it that I can post alongside so that you can edit them. I don't foresee that being a problem. And while answering those questions, yes, I will change up the times for future ones, as well as the day, to try and accommodate different people's schedules. Diane, you can hide the quizzes so that they can't take them ahead of time. Time, you could find their time in the usage log, but I'm also looking at some additional ways to improve the quizzes. So that's something I will keep in mind. And yes, you can exclude quizzes. You can exclude any page that is in the book. Yes, you can get them back by going to the page exclusions. Basically, it just hides them until you tell it to come back. So if I want chapter 2 to be visible again, I click clear exclusion, and now as soon as the student refreshes their page, they will be able to see it again. Nellie, can you explain breaking the quizzes into 2 or 3 sections? See, you guys are typing. Damaris, if they go to an activity and don't actually press submit, it would not show up in the results, but it would show in the usage log. I assume, Gladys, that I will do a bulk exclude from all classes, or possibly a copy to other classes. I'm constantly trying to improve everything we have, so that is definitely something I will look into adding in. I will look into breaking them up more. I know our quizzes are already fairly short. So I will bring that up to the content manager and see what she thinks. Kara, thank you for joining us all the way from the Philippines. It was great to have you in here. They need to make sure and submit. It saves once they submit, but not prior to that, which is different than a version we had about 2 years ago, where it was auto-saving frequently. Was this recent that the student? Yes, they can resubmit multiple times. Okay. Yeah, we've made a lot of changes since May, so I'm not sure what that would have been. But they should show up now. Yes, Mary, they can. They can edit the activities at any time. If you go in and manually grade them and they edit the activity, it will revert back to the auto graded, so you will have to grade them again, which is a nice way to know when a student did the work. And one thing in the workbook, just real quick, you can see the time that an activity is submitted, and that'll show you the last 10 times that the save button was clicked. So you can tell if they're clicking it a lot just to find the correct answers instead of actually learning it. I think I get an email address list of everybody that joined. I will send everybody a certificate, or if you email me, I'll send it back to you that way, but I should be able to do a bulk email. But it probably won't be until tomorrow. I think I need to take the rest of the night off after a couple of late nights. Diane, that is definitely a good idea. I should already have them. I'll have them all in the system from when I sent out the invites. Any questions that I've missed here? I know I've been a little bit all over the place trying to read and answer. I'm going to type my email address for anyone that needs any other questions that you think of after the fact. We'll go with this one. But like I said, just about any of the Voces e-textbooks emails, whether it's help or orders or demos or feedback, you will most likely hear from me a reply. I will send out an email, Melanie, and see if there's interest in some teachers taking turns presenting what they do. Maybe I know I can have other people share their screen as well. So maybe we can next time do kind of a sharing session where people can show different things that they have that they've done and things they're working on. You can email me all you want. I enjoy hearing from you guys and hearing how you're using the book and seeing that you're using the book. Voces usage is at an all-time high these last 2 weeks, which has been why I've been so swamped with connections and slower load times. I've been working feverishly to get all of it fixed. Hopefully, the efforts are working and being noticed. Carol, if you do write something up, I would love to see it. If not to hang in our office, then to use as a testimonial for other uh, teachers looking at it. Diana, if you want to email me, we can check and see if it is a internet issue. We can do a few tests when we go back and forth. I can always remote in and see how it looks. Not currently working on French or German. We've got our 3 Spanish books. We've got 3 ELA books, and we also have an ESL book that there is a 3-chapter demo available for. And the full book will be available in October. After that, we've got a history book coming out this fall as well, and we're not sure where our next venture is. It is always exciting trying to figure out where we're going next. Um, Custom quizzes is something that I can't say working on, but in the process of thinking about. So I feel like that will probably be a feature for next year. But as we go, I will keep you updated. Robert, I will let Ed know that you think he is awesome. One student without technology at home. The pages are printable is the easiest solution. Public library is a great solution. I talked to one teacher last year who had a student that had issues, and their option was to use the library at school, either after school, during lunch, yeah, study hall. Do you guys still have study hall? I feel like they were getting rid of it back when I was in school. We are putting together vocab lists. In addition to them being the printable ones that you see in the teachers panel, we're also going to have one on the student side that will have the words and audio all in one location, almost a small dictionary of sorts, but without definitions. Just the translation and then the audio for it. Yeah, Chromebooks are a great option. There's also some very affordable tablets out on the market where you can get them in the $100 to $150 range. So whether the school has that, it'd be great if schools had just a small stockpile of them for those students that don't have tech at home. I feel like I need to scroll up because I think I'm out of questions to answer. All right, I will stay here as late as you guys want to talk back and forth, or if you guys want to start heading out, we can. I just don't want to kick anyone out early if you're in the middle of a conversation with someone else in here. The activities are not exportable as a spreadsheet right now. The quizzes are, and that is something on my list to add, is to have them exportable. Mary, that is great to hear that this has made you more comfortable. And again, email me with any questions you have. Part of my job is just to make sure everyone is working as smoothly as possible, and the other half is adding improvements. Yes, I'm thinking early October, but if you guys want to email me, if you want to do one sooner, then I can send out an email, and the most I'll get is some no answers back. But we could do a smaller. If you guys wanted some people to do some sharing, we could do it much more frequently. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and making this a successful webinar. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. This was the first one that I've done for this. I've sat in on a couple of small ones, but this was phenomenal, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. I do what I can. Candace, there is some basic help outside of the e-textbook, if you click on, let me go back to here. If you click on tutorials down on the side, that'll walk you through setting up your students and logging in. Once you've logged in, there are instructions that you can get to either from the side menu or along the bottom. There's an instructions button, and that will give you a bit more help. We're working on more detailed help documents. So those will be online as soon as we've written and proofed them.